Good day, brothers and sisters, One Nation Tribal Alliance, friends and family near and far, across the pond, this side of the lake. Today, I am going to share with you what I have been trying to, get across to people that have been calling me, and I have been contacting the elders about how we see what is happening in everybody's paths, as I would say. And some of the elders are really, really concerned because there's been a lot of people requesting more of mental health and wondering why they are going through what they are going through. So as the elders and I talk, we usually talk about, what we are experiencing throughout the reservations right now because reservations are different than a lot of places because we're isolated. Reservations don't have modern technology like a lot of places do. So, but anyway, I guess what I'm trying to bring out to you is going to reflect everybody. And I just want to share with you how and what the elders and I have been talking about because we are trying to address it all in a uniform manner because if it affects Zuni, it's going to affect Navajo, Hopi, and all those other tribes. So, you know, today I guess if I was to title it, I would title it basically experiencing negative energy. You know, and I'm going to start out with a Zuni phrase that was passed on to me, and when we said this phrase, we all looked at it from our own perspective. Each one of us looked at it from our own perspective to where we all had input on it, and we all came to the conclusion of this is what it is. Because what again we're experiencing today is very heavy, not only on our body but on our mind, our body, and our soul, our spirit, because our vibration, it seems like it's getting dragged down. So when we started sitting down, you know, I asked the question, who is all going through this? And meaning that who is all going through experiencing the negative energy. And so we all started, you know, talking about it a little bit about what kind of energy we are experiencing in different locations, like, Tisnas Pass in Navajo, Zuni, Bakavi in Hopi land, and all this. So Salt River, Apache, we're all basically experiencing the same thing. And to my point, to introduce what I'm going to say, starting out with the introduction, I'm going to say it in Zuni first, and then I'm going to explain to you what I meant. Mahot nawan semakuiwe, hot nawan oneatake, usona ansam ihapop, koplea ampe sa ampenawe, semakuiwe, weakia, hot nawana elatenawe, koplea pa. Onshanu kwanawa abushosh, iskon, che maktesha kuitina kianna. And this is basically what I'm saying is the introduction of what we were talking about. And at point, this is what I'm going to say. And this is what was written out. At various points in our lives, we all encounter moments when the world feels shrouded in a veil of heaviness. When our thoughts, feelings, and even the very air around us seem changed or charged with negative energy. You know, experiencing negative energy is a phrase that resonates with many through, though it could mean different things depending on one's background, you know, and background meaning either career, social life, traditional life, spiritual life, beliefs, and personal experiences, whether it arises from external circumstances, difficult relationships, or internal struggles. Negative energy can have a profound impact on our well being. This is basically what we all are going to try to address because, everything we see, feel, and hear is right here on us. And that's why we have to say, identify, face it, and cure it, is what they're saying. But first, to identify, we must understand it. Tuop ampeka, kwap antema kuywe, kwap anweake, kwap ante manane. Understanding negative energy does not always refer to a metaphysical or supernatural force. Often it is a metaphor for persistent feeling of anxiety, anger, sadness, stress, or pessimism. Attitude, it describes the atmosphere of a space or the attitude of a group of people. Recognizing the source and site of negative energy is the first step towards addressing it. In other words, if you go to a place where people are just so negative, you see it. When you're an awakened one, you will see it. Case in point, yesterday we went out, we had to go to Target department store, and we parked and we went in. It's just when we go shopping, it's point A to point B and out. That's the way we shop. We don't browse around, we don't shop around, nothing. We just go point A to point B and back. And yesterday, when we did that, we got in the parking lot, get in the car, get ready to leave. There was a car coming this way, and behind us, and in front of us. And right before we got ready to pull out, they just all stopped. And they just like froze for like 2 or 3 minutes. Nobody moved. Nobody did anything. They just like stopped. And then they started honking. So, and you could just feel the tension when they all stopped in that parking lot. Everybody, all vehicles just like stopped for no reason. It's like they didn't know where to go from there. So, we said, wow. It's like somebody turned the key off on their brain and they just like, boom, stop. So we just waited, and then one of them moved. We got out. Had to go the long way out, but we got out. We got out of that situation, and that's the best you can do. When you're in an area, place where you feel negativity, get out of there. Don't stay. Don't go in there. You know, if you can help it, don't go in there. But if it's a must, take your time going in because people are angry. People are mad. So keep your eyes on that. What is negative energy? So we look at it and chop ampesa. And we look at it and say, well, what is negative energy? So we talked about it a little more about it. And it is, for some, negative energy is felt as an unexplained tension or discomfort or sense that something is off in the environment. For others, it is a way to describe persistent negative emotions or thought patterns. What does this mean? Meaning that, you know, unexplained tension. Why do I feel like I'm being corralled? Why do I feel like I'm being controlled? Why do I feel like somebody is over me all the time? That's because the negative, remember, the dark wants to control you. The dark wants to have you under their wing, but being awakened, you're not. You're free. You're a spiritual person. You're free from all that. You know, but again, sometimes the environment will be off. What does the environment off mean look like? You go outside and you just feel that, ooh, the negative energy, air, the smell of the air, the feeling of what is out there. That's people's feelings out there. I mean, everybody. You just don't feel right. You know, negative emotions and thought patterns usually come in too. You never thought about. You never remember when we think and say we're manifesting. And if things starts coming like that to you, I mean, negative thoughts or sayings, whatever coming to your head, that's not you. You know, understand that's the negative energy out there. You know, but then again, we always look. Not only do we look at it spiritually or mentally, we also look at it many ways. You know, and psychological impact is what basically the next little thing is about. Chronic exposure to negative energy, whether it's within or without, can manifest physically as fatigue, irritable, headaches, and digestive problems. I mean, you see it on television. Everything is negative. Even the movies. You can't really enjoy a good movie where there's no killing, where there's no cussing, fighting, drugs, alcohol, or anything that's not involved in that video, that movie. And people think that's what makes a great movie. But does it? No. It will affect you mentally. They are throwing that negative stuff at you while you're watching a movie. Even even if you go to a public conferences, you know, even if you go to a public concert or whatever, if you go to a conference, you know, and they're constantly talking about the past, about what they gone through, da 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 da. That's bringing out the negative to you. And then pretty soon, like I say, you know, it's gonna manifest physically to you. To where, did that happen to me? Did that happen to me? And next thing you know, you hear more. It did happen to me. It did. I did go through that. I did go through that. You know, there's a lot of people that say that. I mean, a lot of people. I mean, and when you are awakened, you will see that, you know, people that come to you and tell you what they've gone through. You know, if they just surface and scratch it and say they're gonna do this and all that kind of stuff, okay, that's all I say. Okay, and they look at me like, "That's all you're gonna say?" Well, because I don't really know. You know, a lot of people, again, hear other people what they've gone through in the past, and that's what they bring it up. They bring it the past, the past, the past. Don't worry about the past. Live for the now. And when they bring up those past stuff that they have gone through, you start to think, wait a minute, did I go through that? Is that what happened to me? You know, and when negative thoughts come to you, you start saying, did I really, really go through that? But then as you keep bringing that up, did I, did I, did I? Then it's going to be, I did. I did go through that. That did happen to me. That did. And then you're part of that negativity that's in the past. You have built it in. You've manifested in. You know, not only do we talk about that part about listening to people that about their negative experiences that comes to you. Now, here's another one. Social and environmental factors. Meaning that toxic workplaces, ongoing conflicts, environmental filled with pessimism can breed negative energy. Conversely, certain people or places seem to radiate warmth and optimism, helping to lift our spirits. Okay, this is a good one because what we mean is that sometimes you get a job and you go there and then you're the new kid on the block. And guess what? These old timers at that same place, either if they don't accept you, they'll do anything to try to get rid of you or for you to quit and move on. They'll do anything like that. But the best thing to do is just let them do whatever they want. Don't let it bother you. Don't get into their conversation about gossiping, lying about other people, challenging each other. Don't go into that place. That's how toxic a workplace can be. A workplace is a good place to where everybody should work together and help each other. I had a job that was like that one time, and it was so great. I looked forward to going to work because I had goals and objectives that I wanted to meet to accomplish my goal for the job that I had. And everybody was helpful. Everybody worked together as a team. When we had a staff meeting, everybody had good inputs. When you brought up a situation, everybody had good inputs. Nobody was saying, oh, he needs to learn his job. He needs to do this. Yeah. Nobody said that. Well, this is how we handle things. We're just telling you, if you like it, again, like I always say, if it resonates with you, take it. If it doesn't, put it on the shelf. You know, so social environment. So social and environmental can be a major factors of what you are going through. Workplaces, going to ongoing conflicts, and environmental places, meaning conferences, concerts, gatherings, whatever. Common source of negative energy is personal stress and worrying, meaning that what do you worry about if you have a job? What if you got deadlines you have to meet? What if you have unresolved personnel issues that's been ongoing for about a year? Uncertainty about the future can weigh heavy on your mind. And that's why don't worry about the future. Live for the moment. Live for the moment. Don't worry about the past. Don't worry about the future. Live for today. Today. And that's what the elders say. You got to live for today because we're not guaranteed tomorrow. And if you ain't learned from the past, you're never going to learn. So leave it alone. Challenging relationships where you argue, You don't understand each other. And being around overcritical or unsupportive individual often generates negative energy. You know, unsupportive individual. Let him sink. Let him hang himself. Well, you know, I don't care if he just gets fired because he don't know how to do it. I'm not going to show him. Those kind of people you don't need around you. The best thing to do is find out yourself. Do the best you can to the problem you have work wise. And if you can't solve it, then ask questions. Proper people, your supervisor. Don't just go up to anybody in your workspace and say, hey, how do you do this? How do you do that? Because if they don't have time to show you, all they're going to say is, well, you need to learn your job. That's not what you want. How do you know? How do you know that a person is going through a lot? Observing them, clutter or chaotic spaces, whether it's home, work, car, whatever. Lack of sunlight usually is another thing. I don't want to go outside. I just rather stay inside. I don't want to go outside. They don't want to go enjoy nature. They don't want to go out, get some fresh air. They don't want, that's how you know. So negative self-talk, internalizing criticism. You ask for help for like, how do you change the paper on the computer or the printer? Well, if you don't know how, why use it? They say that to you. Then you take that home. Well, I don't know how to operate the printer. I don't know how to change paper in that. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. Am I right for the job? Because I don't know how to do that. You know, don't look at it that way. You were right for the job because you done passed a resume or application review. You passed a, interview, and now you have the job. So they saw something in you to give you that opportunity to succeed, to be a part of the group. But not most places easily said than being done as far as being part of the group. But don't let that bother you. Think about it other way, and I'm gonna get to that point when I get to the end. Negative self-talk is don't do that. That's called ampe sansemakriwe. Ampe sampenawe. Negative self-talk. You don't want to negatively self-talk yourself out of something. Collective moods. Sometimes entire groups or community can fall into this pattern of cynicism or despair, impacting each member's outlook. It's just like there's an awesome office gossip going on. Don't get yourself involved in that office gossip. Even if they say, well, come on, come on, come on. Listen to this, listen to this. Find a way to say, no, I don't want to listen to it. Don't tell them that. Just say, wait a minute, I'll be there. I got to go do this first right quick. Redirect yourself and go elsewhere. That way you don't be part of that negative task force, as I will call them, in the office. Because sooner or later, they're bound to eliminate themselves. So learn to recognize when you are in the presence of negative energy. That's what I said. If they're talking negative, gossiping, or whatever, you don't need to be in that presence. Get away from it. Walk away from it. Walk toward something positive. If they call you, just tell them, hey, I'm busy right now. I'll be right back. I'll do it. Boom. Walk your way out of it. You know, whether it's your own or coming from elsewhere, empowers you to make conscious choices about how to respond. See, that's what I mean. When you know, you can say, I don't want to be part of that group, that gossiping group. I don't want to be. Then let's go over here. When they call you, come on, come join us. Come on. Hold on. I got one thing I gotta do. I'll be right back. Go and redirect yourself elsewhere. You know, some of the signs of being in a negative energy are emotional signs, feelings or of irritation, sadness, hopelessness, or frustration that persists without a clear cause. If you get frustrated over that Kleenex being opened the wrong way, you know, and you get irritable about it, you know, rather than being negatively aggressive and approaching the person who opened it, you don't like the way it's open, go fix it. That's what my daddy always say. If you don't like the way certain thing a person is doing, go back and do it your way. But watch them first because they may have a better way of the way you do it. So keep those thoughts inside as you go to do the external. Mental signs of being attacked spiritually. That is that, you know, you have difficulty focusing. When somebody's talking to you, you know, you're like your subconscious level is more powerful than your conscious because you're not at the now moment when they're talking to you. You're elsewhere. So focusing, you know, focusing on difficult situation happen. Focus in on what you need to get done, what needs to be done. So also, you know, one of the other thing is inability to see positive possibilities. You know, when you are in the mental stage of being attacked, you can't see the positive outcomes of what people in the light are trying to bring you because they're living for the moment. But if you keep living for the moment, what's holding you back will get off and you will move forward. You know, rational signs. You know, rational signs mean that everything you say is very rational. Like you argue for no reason, or you argue for stupid stuff. Like the toilet paper was rolled this way forward rather than backwards. And you want to always keep it forward, but somebody put it backwards, and you're arguing to the people saying, this bathroom needs to be addressed right there. It's a simple thing where you can just, if it's on backwards, you don't like it, turn it around rather than arguing about it. Turn it around. That's how you know this negative energy, negative, you know, both environment is attacking you. Ang pesan semakuiwe. Ang pesan weakya. Ang pesan penawe. That's the dark thoughts, dark words, and dark sickness, illness that it brings. Is what I'm saying with this. You know, environmental science. You go to a room with your coworkers. You just feel uncomfortable. Why? Well, again, you feel uncomfortable, get away from it. Go do something else somewhere, you know? And, you know, things we have control of. We need to start exercise. Don't be passive. Go beyond. If like I gonna make a trip to the sink and I see 3 or 4 dirty bowls out there, rather than making a big deal about who left their bowls out here, go over there, pick them up, take it to the sink. Now, when they start doing it on purpose, then you can speak up. But until then, you know, coping strategies, transforming negative energy. And I started out with that. When it is possible to avoid negative energy entirely, there are effective ways to manage it and even turn it into a catalyst for growth. And what does that mean? It's like they always say, a negative times a negative turns into what? A positive property of action. Negative times a negative becomes positive. So when we get to a point to where when we see things that are out there, we can't control it. Don't try. Let it be. Let it be. You know, self-reflection and mindfulness is a way you need to start looking at yourself, of healing yourself from this, or just to separate yourself from this negative energy. Meaning, self-reflection and mindfulness. Mindfulness meditation of the moment, not of the future, not of the past, but of the moment. We understand we have a lot of traumatic experiences from the past, but one of the biggest things that the Buddhists will teach you is forgive and move forward. Forgive and be at the moment. And if you can't do that, keep trying. Don't give up, because that's what's holding you back. That is what's holding you back. Take time to pause and check in with yourself. Mindfulness meditation, journaling is another way, or simply sitting there quietly with your thoughts. How can I help you notice patterns and triggers? Ask yourself, what am I feeling right now when you're meditating? Mindfulness meditation. Can I name the emotion that I'm going through? Can I title it the emotion that I'm going through? Whether it's breaking up with your girlfriend, moving on, being pushed out of the nest, and you're like, whoa, how am I going to survive out here? Well, think about it. What is survival? You know, what I'm feeling right now. Can I name the emotion? What am I feeling right now? Right now, my subconscious level, when I'm talking to y'all, is saying, what am I feeling right now? What am I trying to get across to you guys right now? And that is that, man, this energy is strong. This energy is affecting everybody. I mean, you can go to the grocery store and you can just feel the anger tension in there. You can just feel the coldness in there. You can just feel the bland, the gray, no color in that grocery store. Get what you need, get out, get away from it. You know, can I name that emotion? Don't. Don't give it, don't give that negative emotion time or thought. Just get away from it. If it follows you, take care of it. And tell you how to do it at the end. Ask yourself, what is causing this feeling that I'm feeling right now? What is draining me out? I get good night's sleep, but then I work and then boom, I'm drained out again. What is causing that? Is it the energy from the sun? Is it the dark place or dark people that that has that negative energy and all that you're hanging around with? What is it? Whatever it is, when you identify it, redirect yourself. Get away from it. Because on the last one it says, is this something I have control over, or is it outside of my influence? You know, as I always tell people, the only way you get involved is if it comes to you. If you stare and you're walking by, get away from it. But if it comes to you, address it. Gaining clarity about your experience is the first step towards shifting your energy. Meaning, what does that look like? Yamtse makanagan nakitotse matu. That's what the elders will say. Clarifying your experience is the first step. If you go to the store, you experience one, your ATM card is not working. Well, then you got money in that ATM card, but why is it not working? It's beyond your control. But you need to go call the bank. Why is my card not working? It could be power surge that knocked it down. It could be your chip that got ruined. It could be, the computer that are trying to access the new system. But whatever it is, think about it as it's beyond your control. You can't do anything about it. Let it go. You know, energy, positive or negative, moves through the body. Gentle exercises such as walks, outdoors, yoga, dancing, you're dancing to your favorite music. I mean, those that were alive during the 80s, disco, disco, you know, because when you exercise, it helps to release the tension that you are having of trying to figure out something or trying to control something or trying to get away from something. That tension will be redirected through some positive energy that you are doing. Like I say, dancing, singing to that music as loud as you can, even though you're out of tune. Don't worry about the out of tune part. Just sing it from the heart and make you feel good. You know, well, what about the environmental? Well, evaluate your surroundings. Open window, let the fresh air and the natural light come in. Declutter your space. Add a touch of greenery. There's you know, bamboo, there's green trees, there's flowers, there's lilies. They're all around me. And I talk to them. How are you doing? Are you okay? You feel healthy? Talk to them. They got spirit. Evaluate your surroundings, open a window and let the fresh air in, declutter your space, you know, incorporate items that bring you joy. Sometimes, you know, outsize can impact on how you feel. And what I mean by that is that, rather than getting little bitty plants that are easy to take care of and all that, we got a 3 foot tall bamboo here and a 5 foot tall green bush over here and a 4 foot lily right there and Buddha sitting right there. You know, it brings us positive energy, which is good. You know, I like that. I like that positive energy. Now, boundaries and relationships with others. Certain people, as the elders would say, at least meaning don't not allow people control you. You know, if certain people or situation consistently drain your energy, it may be time to set healthy boundaries. Maybe time, case in point, I love my brother to death, but my brother is going through a lot through his mother's death. He called me every 30 minutes until I answered the phone. And when I answered the phone, I just want to tell you I love you. You know, can you help me? If not, I love you. Bye. That's it. I don't even have to say anything. Pick up the phone, and that's when he gets done saying that, boom. Well, it drains my energy. So I had to do this, but I text him and I said, I'm blocking you. And that didn't stop him. He went through my sister. He went through a good friends of ours. Go call Greg. Tell him to call me. Unblock me. Oh, no, no, no. When they called me, I said, look, he calls you 30 times a day just to say, he's dying or he's this, he's that. Same thing. And hang up 3 minutes later, he calls again. What would you do? I just had to block him so I don't hear it. And I do know where he lives. I know his phone number. So if anything was to happen to him, I'll get a call. But you need to set your boundaries at work. Those people that bring in negative energy towards you, toxicity towards you, get away from them. Tell them, look, they invite you to something. I'm sorry. I'm busy. You know, seeking support. What the elders tell us. Those that are there trying to pick yourself up and all that, if it's not working while you're working on yourself, you know, seek guidance, seek help. By seeking help, you're not a wimp. You don't have to face negativity energy alone. Trusted friends, counselors, support groups can offer empathy and new perspectives. Sometimes just speaking your truth out loud is enough to a lesson to lessen its burden. Yeah, get it out. That's what I tell people. Those that are awakened are found to be crazy. Why? We talk to the trees, we talk to the plants, we talk to the animals, we talk to ourselves. But they don't understand why. They label you to be crazy. Are you? No. Building a resilient future. Cultivating resilience is an ongoing process, a set of habits, attitudes that help you weather future storms with greater strength. What does that look like? Well, it's like I tell people, when you're out there and you're in the storm of people, you know, wanting you to be part of their group, pulling you this, pulling you that, you know, pull yourself away from there. Because the next two are very spiritual that you need to work on if you are, if you're experiencing, you know, a spiritual challenge. And that is the first one I always tell people. Each day, try to identify a few things you're grateful for, no matter how small or over time. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's present, fostering more positive outlook. Well, if that don't say it itself, few things you're grateful for today. What am I grateful for? Well, I'm grateful that I got up. I'm grateful for that I enjoy coffee with my partner. I'm grateful that, you know, we went together to go to the store and back. Little things I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for her serving me ice cream. You know, I am. You know, also, when you start experiencing, to get in the right way of get rid of the negativity, like I keep telling people, gratitude practice, gratitude and attitude practice. Thank you, bed, for a wonderful night last night. Water, thank you, Spirit, for quenching my thirst. Thank you. Thank you, this. Thank you, that. You know, when I give offering, thank you for allowing me to share my offering with you. Thank you for blessing me when I give you my offering. Thank you. Attitude grab. Thank you for allowing me to have a healthy life. Thank you. Self-care rituals. Prioritizing, you know, what is good for you, which is either whether it's in the food, nourishing food, eating healthy, eating organic, eating what your body needs, not what your body wants, you know, and activities that bring you genuine pleasure. Go out and do it. If you enjoy walking out in the woods, go out and walk out in the woods. Talk to the trees while you're out there. Talk to the birds while you're out there. Your energy is a precious source. Treat it with care. Don't kapin ho itse magsume. Ayu paching. You know, for some, exploring ritual and philosophical traditions offers comfort and broader context for life's ups and downs, whether through prayer, meditation, or reflection on texts that inspire you. Such practices can help ground and guide you. When you seek, that's a start to do it. Grounding, meditation, connection to the source, mother, father, you connect with each other. That's how you will come a long way. But what next? What next is very, very simple because all it says in our way is that ampe lampe nawe, ampe lan semakuiwe, ampe lan weakya. Esto cuatro que nam tu yam ike na kwe, yam shesh na kwe, cuatro que shwa. Meaning that negative energy, through deeply uncomfortable, is not insurmountable mountable by naming and understanding it. We reclaim our power to respond with intentions of creativity. Through reflection, action, and support, we can transform the shadows of our lives into sources of wisdom and strength. Remember, you are not alone on this journey. And with every step, you move closer to renew lightness and possibilities. All this is in your hand, up to you. And by saying that, I want to be able to say that these are what the elders are talking about. These are what the elders are concerned about, our younger generation. The elders know that the world is mad, upset right now. But as an individual, we know we can't control it. But as a spiritual group, we don't have to worry about it because our spirit is the most infinite being we got. If you have, or if you are experiencing a lot of negativity, we're here at One Nation Tribal Alliance and Healthy and Harmonious Lifestyle. We'd like to extend our hand to say we're here to help. You need cleansing, protection, let us know. You can get us by going on our website, onenationtribalalliance.com, or website, healthyandharmoniousliving.com. You can get a hold of us that way. And then we can do cleansing and protection ceremony for you. So thank you for your time. I just want to share with you, you're not alone. Whether it's the sunburst, whether it's the people, whether it's the dark, whether it's the government, whether it's the Illuminatis, whomever they are, don't worry about them. Because we are here to do what we can to help you. I love you all, and I'll be looking forward to hear from you if you need me. You can get a hold of me at Yawakia at One Nation Tribal Alliance. That's YAWAKIA at onenationtribalalliance.com. Again, I love you and thank you for your time. And don't take this on your own. We're here to help you. Thank you. I love you.